BYU Cougars were expecting to compete for a Big 12 championship. And while that is still probably going to happen and still going to be their goal, it's just changed a little bit. It's been reported that Jake Retzlaff is facing a 7-game suspension and his future with the program is uncertain. Now, Retzlaff was going to be a solid piece for this team. Now, fans and maybe the coaching staff felt like there were some inconsistencies in his game, but having a full year of experience and him returning with that makes you a better team, makes you better because you know you have some familiarity with your offense, with this team, with your options out wide. But if he is not able to play, if he's going to in fact be suspended, then you have to look at who's going to run this team. McKay Hillstead is probably going to be that next guy, and we're not really sure what we're going to get with him, but I think that whoever runs this offense is going to be in a good position because of the skill position talent that they have coming back. Again, Retzlaff is going to be missed. When you look at what he did last year, over 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, he's a solid piece for this team. He is a solid player for a team that, again, is still going to compete for a Big 12 championship, but it's just going to be a little bit different. And I would say a little bit more challenging. Now, Hillstead is going to be in a different role this year. He's going to play a larger role because of that if this holds up. And they're going to have to get him acclimated into this game, into this offense, and what they're looking to do to move the ball down the field. Now, there are a couple things that we'll talk about. We're not going to dive into any landing spots for Retzlaff yet until it's more official, if he does actually depart. But there's another question we'll talk about more in a little bit that is going to be a question about if he does in fact come back. Now, the nice thing with Hillstead is that the talent around him is great. You don't really have to worry too much about what you have to do in terms of running the offense because you have talent at the skill positions that'll make life easy. Your defense should allow you some more wiggle room while you get things sorted out. And the schedule as well is going to be interesting to see how they sort things out. Now, Retzlaff leaving means that the offense is going to be a little bit different. Fortunately, the rushing attack should be just fine. LJ Martin, I thought he had a chance to be a 1,000-yard rusher this year with Retzlaff coming back. I think that makes it even more solidified that you should feel pretty good about his opportunities. That being said, this is a really deep running back room. I think that they have the ability to have multiple guys participate, have multiple guys be big time contributors. And it's only a matter of time before one of them is able to step up and break out, or multiple of them can have big seasons. But LJ Martin, I think, is set to have a really big year with this news, or if this is truly in fact what ends up happening, because Hillstead is going to need time. Even if he is confident in fall camp, even if he's confident over the offseason, it will take him some time to get used to playing the speed of this game. LJ Martin and this rushing attack should make it a little bit easier for him. The offensive line is in a good place too, where they can make that happen. They can give him time to throw. They can give the running backs big running lanes to run through. So this is an offense that should be fine regardless of who's quarterback. Now, the wide receiver position is kind of up in the air with how this is going to work offensively through the passing attack. Chase Roberts does return, so that's a nice thing if you're BYU. 854 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. And I think that's a good piece to have back. He's someone who can take the top off the defense. He can get open. He can create separation. And with a new quarterback, that's really where you need him to step up in a big way. You need him to be even more himself. Now, there are some concerns about the depth at the position. Parker Kingston, if he can take his returning abilities to the wide receiver position, then you have another good guy that can make big plays. We've seen what he can do with the football in his hands. It's up to BYU to get the ball in his hands and let him do what he does best. JoJo Phillips is another big play threat as well, 21.1 yards per catch. I think that he could have a big year if they find ways to utilize him. Another Tay Nakua could be in that mix as well. Tiger Bachmeyer comes in. Cody Hagan is a guy that they're really excited about. So the wide receiver position is in a good place. The tight end position, you could see some guys stepping up. You just don't necessarily know what you're going to get from that group, though Carson Ryan was a solid addition from the transfer portal there. The defense will also have to do a little bit more. The defense has a defensive line that's going through a little bit of a transition. You did lose a number of key pieces, but you have guys that should be able to step up. It's just going to come down to chemistry and if they're able to actually find some guys on the edge that can be big time impact players. Fortunately for them, the linebacker position is set. A bunch of studs on this defense at linebacker. Isaiah Glasker, Siale Asira, and Jack Kelly are going to be phenomenal once again. Those are guys who are proven commodities that can be disruptive. So this defense might have to do a little bit more. Fortunately for them, the beginning of the schedule should allow for Hillstead or whoever the quarterback is to get acclimated to this game. Now, the other question that we'll dive into here is, what if Retzlaff decides he takes his suspension and then he comes back? Obviously, it depends on how the quarterback position is playing right now, but do you throw him into the mix? The reason why I ask that is because you're coming off the Utah game. That'll be his last game that he's suspended, if it is 7 games. Then you have to go to Iowa State. Do you really want to throw a cold quarterback into that kind of atmosphere? I don't necessarily know. Maybe you give him another week and then you throw him into the Texas Tech game, but that's not ideal either. So that's not a great scenario to run into if you're at BYU. But if Hillstead's playing well, then it's not really a problem. You also have to wonder, if he's playing kind of up and down, do you even want to ruin his confidence or take that chance by putting in Retzlaff? So that'll be another interesting thing to keep an eye on. We'll talk more about that if that truly does happen. We'll also talk about landing spots if that is going to be the route that Retzlaff chooses. But this is a BYU team that is going through a little bit of transition now. This is a team that is going to have to figure out what they need to do on the offensive side of the ball. How do they get their quarterback, their new quarterback, up to speed and ready to go? They have all fall camp to figure that out. So that's at least a nice thing. The schedule, at least at the beginning, you look at Portland State and Stanford, those aren't going to be terribly difficult games, but road trips to ECU and Colorado could be. You also host West Virginia, and Arizona is a road trip, but those are 2 teams that are near the bottom of the Big 12 right now. Then you have the Utah game. That's going to be a tough one with a new quarterback, but that's going to be a tightly contested game. So I don't think you have too many big concerns about what that game will do, and even if you do have a new quarterback at that point. But I'm curious how this is all going to work out. The second half is really where you need solid quarterback plays, starting with that Utah game. So BYU, I don't know how this affects their win total. I would assume it goes down at least half a win, but this is going to be an interesting thing to monitor. It's going to be a storyline to pay attention to, and it's not anything official quite yet, but it appears that this is where we're heading. We'll see if Jake Retzlaff does in fact get suspended for 7 games. We'll see if he sticks with the program, and if he's gone, we'll see what this means for BYU in their 2025 season.